Okay, the interview is almost over. My heart is beating fast. The hiring manager leans forward, smiles, and says the 5 words I'm most afraid of. So, any questions for us? My mind goes blank. I know I should have a question, a smart question. But what if I ask something stupid? What if I ask something they already answered? Maybe it's better to just say no. No, I think you've covered everything. Is that what I should do?
And in that moment, most people lose the job.
Really? Just like that? Because I didn't have a question?
Not because you didn't have a question, because you didn't understand what the question was for.
It's for me, right? To get information I need, to decide if I want the job.
That sounds logical, but it's only 20% of the truth. The questions you ask at the end of an interview are not primarily for you to get information. They are for the interviewer to get information about you.
I don't understand. I've just spent an hour answering their questions. What more can they learn?
They've learned about your past, your experience, your skills. But the questions you ask, they show the interviewer how you think. Right now, in this moment, they show what you value. They show how you approach problems. Most candidates see it as the end of the interview, a formality. But the best candidates see it as the most important part. It's their final opportunity to control the conversation.
Control the conversation? That sounds aggressive. I'm just trying to get the job, not take over the room.
It isn't about aggression. It's about guidance. You are guiding their perception of you. Think about it. Most candidates ask predictable, low-value questions. What does a typical day look like? Or what are the benefits? These questions focus on what the company can do for them.
But I need to know what a typical day looks like. That's important.
It is, but it's a question that positions you as a passive employee waiting to be told what to do. It's a safe question, and in a competitive interview, safe is invisible. Your questions should do the opposite. They should make you memorable.
Okay, so I need to ask a really smart, impressive question. I did a lot of research. Maybe I should ask about their latest product launch or their stock price, something that shows I've done my homework.
That's a very common strategy. It comes from a good place, the desire to show preparation, but it often fails.
Why? It shows I'm interested and dedicated.
Because it often feels like a test. You're asking a question you think you already know the answer to. You're not starting a conversation, you're performing. The interviewer doesn't learn how you think. They just learn that you can use Google. The goal isn't to prove you know something. The goal is to show how you analyze things you don't know. The questions you ask, they should reveal something about your character.
Reveal my character? How does a question about the job do that?
Let's start with the first area you should explore, the team. Most people ask factual questions about the team. How big is the team? Or what are the different roles on the team?
That seems reasonable. I want to know who I'll be working with.
It's reasonable, but it's weak. The interviewer gives you a number, 7 people. The conversation stops. What have you learned? Almost nothing. What have they learned about you? Absolutely nothing.
So what's the alternative?
Instead of asking about the structure of the team, ask about the dynamics. Ask a question that shows you value collaboration and understand that work is about people.
For example?
You could ask, can you tell me about a time the team had to handle a strong disagreement about a project? Or, what does successful collaboration look like on your team? These questions are impossible to answer with one word. They require a story. And in that story, you learn about their communication style, their values, and how they handle conflict.
I see. And what does it reveal about me?
It reveals that you are mature, that you expect challenges and are thinking about how to be a good partner to your colleagues. It shows you think about the how, not just the what. You are no longer just a candidate with a list of skills. You are a potential collaborator.
Okay, that makes sense. Asking about team dynamics, not just team size. What's the next area?
The role itself, the challenge. This is where most candidates ask the most common, most generic question of all.
Let me guess. What does a typical day look like?
Exactly. It's a question born from anxiety. We want to imagine ourselves in the job, but it's a useless question. There is no typical day in most professional roles. More importantly, it shows you are focused on process, not on impact.
So if I shouldn't ask about the typical day, what should I ask about the work?
Don't ask about the day, ask about the problem. Every company hires a new person to solve a problem. Your job is to find out what that problem is.
How do I do that without sounding like I'm criticizing them?
You frame it as a shared challenge. You could ask, if I were to start in this role, what would be the biggest challenge I could help you solve in the first 3 months?
Wow, that's a very different question.
It is. The phrase help you solve changes everything. It positions you on their side of the table. You are no longer a candidate asking for a job. You are a consultant offering a solution. It shows you think in terms of results and contribution. You want to provide tangible value.
And it focuses on the first 3 months. That makes it specific.
Exactly. It shows you understand the importance of making an early impact. The answer to this question tells you everything you need to know about the reality of the job, far more than a description of a typical day ever could.
So first, ask about team dynamics. Second, ask about the immediate challenge. What's the third area?
The third area is about success, or what people often call company culture.
Right. I've been told to always ask about the culture. So I ask, what is the company culture like?
And what kind of answer do you usually get?
Something about being collaborative, innovative, fast-paced, a lot of positive words that don't mean very much.
Because you're asking an abstract question, so you get an abstract public relations answer. The word culture itself is a trap. It means everything and nothing. You need to ask a question that forces them to give you a specific human story instead.
And how do I do that?
You don't ask for the definition of the culture, you ask for the evidence of it. You could ask something like this. When you look at the people who are most successful in this company, what specific behaviors or habits do they share?
That's good. It's not about abstract values, it's about real actions.
Precisely. It forces the interviewer to think about actual people. They might say, well, the people who do really well here are the ones who are always willing to help other departments even when it's not their job. Or the real stars are the ones who are excellent at communicating bad news early.
So you learn what is truly valued, not just what the company says it values. You're finding the underlying rules of the system.
Yes, and you also reveal that you are someone who thinks deeply about what it takes to succeed. You are coachable. You are looking for the model of excellence. You have to carefully formulate a question that asks for a story, not a label.
Okay, this is all making sense. The questions are about the team, the challenge, and the definition of success. But it still feels risky.
Tell me why.
These questions are so direct. They're serious. What if the interviewer doesn't have a good answer? What if I make them uncomfortable? Asking about team disagreements or company challenges, isn't it safer to stick to simpler, more positive questions?
Safer for who?
Safer for me. I don't want to be seen as difficult or negative.
This is the core of the issue. You believe the interview is a test of your likability, and so you try to be as pleasant and agreeable as possible. But an interview for a professional role is not a test of likability. It's an assessment of your competence and your ability to handle complexity.
So a tough question shows I'm not afraid of complexity.
It shows more than that. A great interviewer wants you to ask these questions. If you ask a difficult, thoughtful question and they get excited, that tells you it's a healthy environment. They are looking for a partner to solve problems with.
And what if they get defensive or can't answer?
Then that also tells you everything you need to know. If a manager can't talk about how their team resolves disagreements or what the biggest challenge is, you are looking at a massive red flag. Your smart question just saved you from a potentially bad job. Your question is a diagnostic tool for the health of the company. So the risk is actually a filter, a good one. Exactly. You are interviewing them just as they are interviewing you. High-value professionals understand this. They are not just trying to get an offer. They are trying to find the right offer. These questions are how you do that. So let me try to bring this together. It's a system of thinking, not just a list of questions. I need to move away from asking generic questions. Yes, the kind of questions anyone could ask. Instead, I need to formulate my questions carefully. Each one should be designed to reveal how I think. To show, not just tell. My question about the team should explore its dynamics, not just its size. My question about the role should focus on the most tangible problem I can help solve, not the daily routine. And my question about culture should uncover the underlying behaviors of successful people. You've captured it perfectly. Team, challenge, success. It's a framework for demonstrating your value. You don't need to ask all of them. Just having 1 or 2 thoughtful questions in each category prepares you for any situation. It's interesting.
When you think about it this way, that moment at the interview, it doesn't feel scary anymore.
How does it feel?
It feels like an opportunity, like my chance to finally lead the conversation. It's like the whole interview before that is just the warm-up, and the questions I ask, that's the main event.
The questions are not the end of the interview.
No, they are the real interview.